hear. Can't hear.
Alrighty, well, there it goes. So I was on mute that whole time. So let's just
I
start
was like, she's
again.
really going in. She's so excited. I'm like, I can't hear a single thing she
Yes.
just said.
Welcome everybody to Mind Your Business. This is Tanika Steves and I am your host. And sometimes you just have things that happen. And so I love my audience because they keep me up to date on what's going on. And like, we can't hear you at all. And I'm just going on and on and on. But tonight, my guest is Sondra Ray, and she is a goal accountability coach who helps her clients every step along the way, from clarifying their zone of genius through celebrating their success and tweaking plans as needed. While her primary focus is goal setting and accountability, Sandra also helps her clients get things done, from managing social media to setting up systems. Sandra's philosophy is to help her clients gain momentum immediately until they are ready to hand off ongoing tasks to other specialists. This helps her clients shorten the gap between setting and achieving their goals. Sandra's unique approach helps her clients get things done more quickly and with less stress. Now, as a mom of five with two bonus kids, Sandra has learned how to manage time and many goals simultaneously. Sandra is also passionate about accountability because it helped her achieve major health, family, and career goals. She admits that 10 years ago, she was a much different person. In fact, even 2 years ago, you wouldn't even recognize her. Stressed, busy, trying to do too many things at once, and not effective at any of them, Sandra held herself accountable and took back control of her life. And now she helps others do the same. And tonight, she is going to be talking to us about accountability and goal setting. She has a business called Get It Done with Sandra Ray, and she's also a virtual assistant. So, without any further ado, Sandra, sorry that we had that delay, but it was always good because I messed up a little bit while I was reading the first time, and this time I just got to go through without a hitch. So, if you would introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it, please.
Hi, thank you so much for this opportunity. And yes, practice makes perfect. So definitely saying it more than once is never a bad thing. So my name is Sondra Ray, and I am the owner of Get It Done Coaching and VA Services. And I started out as a virtual assistant, is how I actually started my business a little over 4 years ago, to help a family friend who was running more than one business while working a full-time job, while being a father, and so on and so forth. So I was helping him do some virtual assistant tasks, which turned into getting him organized, getting his goals set. He relocated his family across the United States, so it ended up being a virtual thing. And I just really fell in love with the helping aspect of helping people get things done. So what I did was I took a VA course and started an internship with a VA, with a social media agency as a VA. And the owner quickly realized that I had the skill set to organize, get things done, help her set goals. She already had the goals, but just to break it down into bite-sized pieces and keep her on task, because at the time she owned 6 businesses. And so her husband convinced her, no, she owned 5 businesses. She wanted to add a 6th business. And her husband was like, only if you hire a VA just for you, not for your agencies, just one for you to keep it all straight, because he was going crazy trying to keep it straight for her. So she hired me as her VA/goal accountability coach. That was almost 2.5 years ago, and we are still together now. And she actually just talked to her earlier today, and she's like, "Oh, I have some more VA stuff to do, and want to up your hours again." They come and go as her business comes and goes. So I have used goal accountability, like you said, to reach major health goals. I started my health journey 8 years ago, and I've lost over 100 pounds, ups and downs since then. And I just really use my my health community to help me through depression, losing my mother, anything that life throws at me, to help me try to stay on the health track that I want to show my kids and my grandchild. So that is one of the major reasons I love accountability. The other way I've used accountability was my business. I worked part-time while working a full-time job, being a parent with active kids, all those lovely things that we try to do. I would leave my house at 6 in the morning, and sometimes I'd get home at 6 at night. Sometimes it was 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night, depending on ball schedules and all that lovely stuff. And my husband and I decided that I really, really loved the business and I really loved helping people. And he seen the joy it brought me. And he was just like, does it make sense to stay in a day job that I wasn't liking at the moment and wasn't leading me down the path I wanted to? So we took the leap of faith. And then when I say we, it took a team. As you know, you have a husband entrepreneur. He is not an entrepreneur, so he doesn't have that skill set, but he took the leap of faith with me. July of 2019, I put my 2-week notice in when I turned 44. So it was a birthday present to myself. So I went full-time in my business. Definitely been a roller coaster of things and events since then. I was able to be a daycare provider for my grandson his first year of life. That was one of my motivators to take the leap of faith too, was she didn't want to do daycare, at least that first year. So I had the honor of being able to be a full-time grandma while running a business. So definitely needed accountability because, little ones don't make it, don't make scheduling always the greatest. So I definitely was able to do that. And then they relocated far, far away. No, they relocated to another state, but I was able to help her manage that, sell their home, find a new place, and then able to travel with them and spend a week with them to get them relocated and set up. We used accountability, plan setting, everything I use with my clients. I used it with my oldest daughter. Made her write notebooks, lists, everything that I would do with the client. Definitely was help, including, who was going to help us move, who was going to unload things, because we had plenty of help on this side, but when we got there, we had to figure out who was going to unload that big old truck. So we definitely planned it out, and it was a successful move. And I now have a place to visit in Florida and visit them, and thankfully, he knows Grammy from FaceTime. He knows Grammy's voice, and then he loves FaceTime. So we do that quite often. But so what I do is I help clients if they don't know their goals, first, I firmly believe you have goals. If you have dreams, you have goals. So a dream is a goal is just a dream that's written down on paper. So everybody has dreams, usually, I find. So I do help people figure out what those are and get those worded. So if they don't have exact path that they're on, and then what I do is I help them take their goals and reverse engineer them into a customized action plan. So bite-sized pieces like step 1, contact Joe Smo about social media, write the contract, write the plan, just little steps at a time. Because when you get that momentum of getting those wins of accomplishing steps, then it helps you roll into more steps. I always celebrate wins, even if it's you made it to Friday and you're still breathing. Today, my win is I've been up since 4:30 and I'm still conscious. So you got to celebrate all those wins for sure. So I use the winning mentality, the positive mindset that, even when things don't go right, because no plan is perfect and you have to be flexible, that we just tweak it and we keep going. So I always make sure that, if I prefer working with my clients on a weekly basis so we can keep the plan rolling forward. I do monthly packages, but I prefer the weekly so that we can figure that out. Another thing I do is I do help people figure out their strengths and weaknesses and then their zone of genius. What are you really, really good at? What are you really passionate at? Mine's goal accountability. Yours is mindful, mind your business. So everybody has that zone where they're just 100% on it, passionate about it. And my goal is to keep you there as much as possible. So if we can figure out how to keep you there and outsource the rest, we might have to get creative. Those lovely 13, 16, 17-year-olds running around your house might be good resources to help tap into to help you get things done. That, cousin who's, looking for something to do on the side or whatever, there's ways to resource and outsource things. You just have to think outside the box. Like I did an internship. That's how I got my skill set, part of my skill set. So there's definitely ways to outsource and look at those resources as much as you can. I know a lot of people that are just starting their businesses and they just want testimonials. So, if you can work with somebody, give them that testimonial, help create their business while getting your stuff done. So if it's in my wheelhouse of skill set, then I will help you do it with you. And I like to do systems, organization, email management, schedule management, task management, project management, social media management to a certain extent. Not a writer. That's not my zone of genius. So I hired that out from social media to blog posts. Those are all hired out for me. So I know my limits. So but I have resources and keep building my resources list of things to be able to help people outsource. So yeah, those are just a few of the things that I do to help people reach their goals. And I usually end up building a long-term relationship. Most of my clients are with me anywhere from 6 months to, like I said, the one's been with me for 2.5 years. Another one's been with me a year and a half. Because you keep building, you get the momentum, you get the goals, you want to keep striving for more. And I don't work just with professional goals. I work with personal goals. I have a mom who has, 3 businesses, twins, relocating, like all that stuff. That all matters to me. I don't put it in a shoebox of, oh, we only can talk about your business. We can talk about all your goals in all your areas of life because those matter and they affect each other. So that's a little bit about what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day because you have been up for a long time and just letting us know about accountability because on Mondays I do Monday mindfulness. And I told you this is a new thing that I'm doing now with Monday mindfulness. I want to bring someone on that can talk about things that we can be mindful of. And being accountable is something that we need to be more mindful of. And so tonight on my Monday mindfulness show, we're going to talk about accountability. So I think this is good to have you on at this time to just talk about what that looks like. And a lot of times, like you said, people have goals because they're dreams that are goals. And so we just don't know sometimes how to put those into perspective. And then we don't know how to be accountable for them. So can you identify the steps that you took, like when you recognized that, oh goodness, I'm spinning out of control or I need to get these things in order? Help us to identify what that looks like.
Sure. I can give you a prime example. My 13-year-old, when I'm completing nothing. So when you're getting nothing done, but you're doing a whole lot of stuff, but you're finishing zero. And my 13-year-old will just look at me and go, Mom, for real, like, let's sit down, write it out. She's too smart for her own good. But anyways, let's write it out, Mom. Like, write out what you want to get accomplished. It's usually the weekend. Like, I want to get the house in order and yard in order and all those lovely things. And so she'll just either I'll write it out or she'll be like, Mom, just talk to me. So talking it out. So when you're not getting anything accomplished is a really good indicator of the day went by, but I got nothing done. What the heck? When I did, I got on Facebook and I got on Instagram and I got on my email, but I didn't get anything accomplished because I had no goal of what to accomplish. So when you're not being productive, it's definitely a good indicator that, hey, I probably should get accountability, even if it's telling my little one that by 5 o'clock we'll do X, Y, and Z, because if I get X, Y, and Z done, or kids are great accountability partners, they don't forget anything. Or telling your spouse, hey, I need to get this done. Can you remind me? Can you check in with me at the end of the day? Or your group or your friend or, your bestie, hey, let's walk 2 times a day. So definitely when you're not being productive is definitely an indicator that, accountability. And then when you get the burnout, I think when you get burnt out or you get overwhelmed and just that paralyzed feeling of nothing, I can't get anything done, like it's impossible. It's also a good indicator of a good time to get accountability because usually it's not as bad as it seems, but you can't see the full picture. You can only see the 20,000 things. You can only see the 10 piles of laundry in front of you. You can't see the washer and dryer or the kids to help you fold it, or, you can't see the whole picture because all you see is the mountain in front of you. So when that mountain's in front of you, and then especially if you get paralyzed and you do nothing because, you go and scroll social media for 3 hours because you just don't know what to do, or the fear of taking that first step is always another indicator of accountability. And accountability, I always say accountability comes in seasons. Sometimes you need higher accountability. Sometimes you need intense accountability. Maybe you need a personal trainer to get those health goals kicked off. But then other times, maybe, you need a nutritionist, or maybe you need a business coach, or maybe you need a spiritual coach or holistic coach. So that looks differently. And I always tell people to examine their accountability when they examine their quarterly goals. So when you examine those quarterly goals to see if they go with those yearly goals, like where are you at, examine accountability too, because what might have worked first quarter is not working second quarter. Or maybe if it was your BF or, the coffee group and they've went a different way than you, and you guys just aren't meshing again, or they have other responsibilities and it's just not working out. It's not a personal thing. It's just, that's where you're at and that's where they're at. And then you just have to be honest with yourself and be like, okay, this isn't working, or I need a second accountability partner in this area. Yeah, I'll still help Susan out, but I'm not really getting what I need to get out of that. And that includes coaching too. If it's not working for your coaching accountability pieces, then you need to definitely examine that. So I do recommend seasons accountability is definitely something I and then there's also, accountability comes in many forms. Family is always a good accountability group to a certain extent, because, if you tell your 15-year-old and then you blow them off when they remind you. I always feel family is a little easier to, like, yes, they're going to be honest with you, but at the same time, they're easier for you to push aside. Where if you get a group of people or a network or a mastermind, of course, when you put money behind it, when you pay to be a mastermind or you pay to get coaching, you get a little more teeth or skin, as they call it, in it to do the work. But I've had people that still didn't do the work. I'm like, okay, and then you look at the mindset of it all. What's your mindset around that? You paid for this. Like, what was your mindset? You thought if I paid for it, it's going to magically do it, or you still have to put in the work. So the mindset around that, around accountability, and whether you use free versus
are you
paid.
reading my mind? I promise you, I just wrote down mindset around accountability.
Because some people feel they have to have paid for it to really matter, and that's so not true. I mean, I've been in free groups where in the end, it is about self-accountability. You have to hold yourself accountable and you have to work the program. So I've been in weight loss challenges, many free and paid, and I've blown off paid ones and I've busted my butt in free ones. Like, I've done vice versa. And it got to the point where my husband's like, well, why should pay for that? Or I would do a paid one, not do it, and then be royally pissed off at the end at myself and beat myself up. And then he got to the point where he's like, you're not joining those paid challenges if you're just going to get mad. I'm like, well, help me during the challenge. Don't wait until I get mad at the end. So we had to come to an understanding that I would only do them every once a quarter or once or twice a year, so that it wasn't such a frustration. Because he's just like, you've turned into a mean person. Like, let's not do those anymore. So yeah, it's definitely a mindset around. And my health coach was just saying this last Sunday. She's like, okay, it's another 21-day challenge. Don't just say, oh, it's another 21-day challenge. Are you in it to win it? It's a different mindset to be in it to win it versus, oh, it's another challenge. This is our third month of doing these, yada, yada, yada. March, I busted my butt and did really well. April, I didn't do so hot. Life happened and I let it overtake me. And so she's like, you got to be in it to win it. And no matter what, you're going to get some kind of result if you have that mindset versus, oh, it's just another challenge, or, oh, it's just another thing to mark off. So definitely mindset around what you want out of accountability and how you want it to work for you and how you're going to make it work for you. It's all about how you're going to make it work for you. Like I said, I've had clients where they plug in and they bust out major goals. And I've had clients where it can be dragging them by the feet, and I'll be like, okay, we did this for a couple of months. This is not working. And I'm very honest and open book about that. Like, this isn't working. Like, you're not in it. I'm not a drill sergeant, so I won't pull you through it. This is just not a working relationship. So, but it's really funny because the one that I've been with for 2.5 years, she tells people that I yell at her. But I highly encourage her when she's making decisions that I know that are not in her best interest, that, hey, let's really think about that. An example was the one that owns 3 businesses, has twin girls. She was single parent at the time. She wanted to sign up for college. And I said, okay, show me in your schedule where you're going to schedule 5 hours a week for school. Even taking one class, which is 3 credit hours, plus a study 3 hours, take the twins to swim, run 3 businesses, go to school for fat. I said, show me. Like, you show me, prove it to me. She didn't even open her calendar. She's like, okay, never mind. I'm like, I am not for you. It's not even about the mindset, I don't want you to grow. It was about realistically looking at your
Mhm.
life and going, is this the best time for this? Later down the road, if you want to take the class in the summer when you don't have school stuff and all that things for them or whatever, cool beans, like you can fit that in. And she's like, that makes sense. Thank you. Because she was super excited about, I love my creative ADHD clients. They love that shiny syndrome. Like, I want to do this next project. I want to do that next project. I'm like, okay, kosher, cool. Where are we going to fit this in your life plan right now? Your goals, your schedule. Um, or does this need to go in the parking lot for a little, call it the parking lot, but like, does it need to go in the project idea book for now to bring out later? Definitely never against ideas, but what is reasonable for now, and like I said, I like getting in that relationship with them so that I can tell them, so I know the whole picture. If you're working on health goals and you're working on businesses, you can't, burn the candle at both ends and still be a healthy person. So I definitely try to look at both that perspective. And which is why I love building relationships. Which is why I do one-on-one and I don't do group coaching, is because I want that in-person relationship. So,
Yeah.
so answer about accountability.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was a
and I
wrong
was
answer.
you answered everything that I was thinking, because I was thinking about the whole commitment part of it. They have to be committed, and no matter how much you're going to hold them accountable, if they're not committed, you can't just take them and make them do it. If you're going to sign up for this, then you have to be fully committed and engaged in doing it. And like you said, just because you're paying for it, it's just not magically going to just happen for you. And so you've got to be 100% willing to invest not just your money, but you. And a
Right.
lot of times I think that's where we get lost, is we get so excited, like you said, about the shiny things. And I've got this accountability coach and she's going to help me, but they think that you're going to do all the work. And the work is not from you. The work is helping them to stay accountable, and the work has to come from them. And so just being encouraging and helping them to understand what your role is and what their role is, because I think sometimes when we do invest our money, we don't realize we have to invest ourselves. So can you talk about how important it is in investing yourself?
Yeah, it's extremely important to invest in yourself, whether it's in your business, in your personal life, your personal goals. And that's why I like to say that I work with all types of goals, because I fully believe your goal accountability goes across the board. So, and I do have goals in all the areas of my life: marriage, family, business, relationships, all those things. So it's important to invest. We talk about, as women, that we can't pour from an empty cup. So you have to invest
Mhm.
in pouring into that cup. So, and I'm just as guilty, about not pouring into that cup as much. It was a crazy weekend. So somebody said, did you do any self-care this weekend? I was like, maybe, I think. So, but, um, so yeah, that investment piece is, important, because when you're investing, whether it's money or just your time, they're both equally important. Your time is money, money is time. So investing in that so that you get the most out of that, whether it's the most out of your money or the most out of your time, it's extremely important. Um, if I know somebody that's very time oriented, he does everything by a time block, like, system, and he has 2 kids, but he has them on the calendar for certain amounts of times. Now, he said that it's not that emergencies don't happen, but he's also grown them to accustomed to that, and that he says, we can do X, Y, and Z if daddy works both businesses X, Y, and Z. So they understand his investment into the time into the business is just as important as his investment time into them. but what they also get out of him investing time in their business. So that's what I even tell my own family that, they'll be like, oh, you're on the computer 24/7. I'm like, yeah, but guess who can take you to the eye appointment in the middle of the day? Like, we went and got our eyeglasses adjusted today. Like, I can run and do that. Or, somebody was sick the other day, so I could go to the pharmacy in the middle of the day. Like, that's the flexibility I get even by working X, Y, and Z hours that can be crazy. I get that flexibility to take off when I need to in my business because I've invested that time in other days of the week. So yeah, that investment part is so important. And again, like you said, it's a mindset thing. You gotta be in that mindset. My fitness journey definitely goes on roller coasters, and sometimes I'm like, yes, let's exercise. I'm investing in myself. And then there's days like, oh my goodness, don't make me pick up the the weight and do this. Like, I don't want to invest in myself. But knowing your why and why you want to invest in yourself is extremely important. So my main whys are being the best version of myself for my children and for I have one grandchild. And when I started my health journey 10 years ago, it hurt to squat down to play ball and to do things outside with my children. When you have 100 pounds on you, that's just, it's terrible. And so they were my why in those days where, getting up and getting that workout and things, and were not fun. I'm not a fitness guru, so I'm not like 24/7 fitness, but I also knew that I want to be around, my mother only made it to her early 60s. And so I want to be around, God willing, as long as I can. But, part of that is investing in my health now so that I can be there later in life for them. So just that investment is extremely important as I watched my family go through changes and ups and downs and things like that. And my kids lose grandparents and great grandparents and all that stuff. Um, I know how hard that is. And so I'm hoping my grandkids don't have to go through some of those rocky roads until later in life. Not that as adults it makes it easier, but at least, you know, at least I made the best effort I could. So by investing in myself, I'm investing in my future, which also invests in my kids and my grandkids and my legacy in front of me. So yeah, that mindset of they're my why. So
Absolutely. And it's just so funny. Whenever I have someone on the show, I always know that we are in sync with one another based off of the conversation, because everything that you said, I've made notes. And right after I make a note, you speak on it, because I put know your why. And then you started talking about it's about knowing your why. It's about mindset around accountability. It's about what is your why, and the commitment is key. And you touched on all of those. And I thank you so much for sharing that, because it's important. And I think that we in the society in the day and age we live in now, I say we're wheels in motion. And it's like wheels spinning, but not going anywhere. It's just like a skid out. It's like they're spinning, like on AstroTurf or whatever. It's like when it rains and your wheels just start spinning and you're not able to go, and it's like you have to find that traction and to be grounded and to understand how to move forward. And sometimes we don't know how to do that. And sometimes we're afraid to ask for help, or we don't know where to ask for help. 10 years ago, accountability coaches were not really heard of, and life coaches were like, what is that? And people were not really understanding that it was for everyday people as well, because they thought that maybe these gurus were for these big people that are on television that can hire these people out. But no, there are everyday people like yourself, virtual assistants and accountability coaches and goal coaches that can be hired out, that you can invest your time and your money into, that is not going to cost you a whole lot, but is going to actually help you to gain the momentum that you need to get you on the right track. And so if someone wants to work with you, what do they need to do to get in touch with you for an accountability or goal setting coach or a virtual assistant?
Awesome. Yeah, I do offer a free 30-minute consultation. So I call it the Get It Done consultation. And that comes with some free resources. And we just go over like how it would look to work with me. So we would do a couple of goals and I would break them down into action steps to give you like that actual feel of how that does. And then VA services, we definitely would talk about what are my lanes or zone of geniuses and what I offer, and then if that's a workable relationship or not. So if you go to my website, www.ray-va.com, you can book a consultation on there. And then I do also offer a Get It Done freebie, which is a 4-email series about brain dumping and what to do with that task list after you brain dump it, because your brain is not made for storing, it is made for processing. So the more you try to keep it in your head, that's why you wake up at 2 in the morning wanting to know why if you turn the coffee pot on for the next day. Your brain is made for processing, not storing. So I do have a freebie where you get a 4-email series. And then that'll get you on my email list, which is you get an email every 2 weeks with the accountability goal setting tips. So that's my freebie, and then the consultation. And then I do weekly lives on my Facebook page on Tuesdays with accountability tips, productivity tips, whatever's going on and working for me at the time, or whatever's going on and working for my clients at the time. I talk about that and it's usually just a 10-minute quick live, just to give people some value. So those are a couple of ways to look for me and work with me.
Absolutely. Well, also, what I offer all of my guests that come on the show is a link on my website. So that way people can find you there as well. And you can become a part of the networking society that we have in the mindful community. And there is so many different people out there that you can reach out to and network with. And like you said, when there's something that is not your lane, you can hire out to someone else. And there's a network of people out there that you can connect with. So this platform is just a great resource of networking, and I love it. And so I thank you so much for sharing your time and your tips and your talents with us, because I think you gave us some value tonight. You gave us some really good nuggets, because I love when you said brain is made for processing and not storing. That right there was my biggest takeaway from tonight. Seriously, out of everything, I mean, it's like everything else is like pretty much, we're one-on-one with everything and I'm writing the notes. But when you said the brain is made for processing and not storing, that right there was really aha, like, wow. I can take time to process that, because I got something out of that. And so that was a really good nugget. And so I thank you for sharing that, because that's very valuable. And so again, I think you added some value to our day today. So for this mindfulness segment, I think that we can be more mindful about being accountable and setting our goals, and not just holding ourselves accountable, but finding those people that we can trust that will keep us accountable. And like you said, sometimes we'll blow our family members off. So get someone that's not going to allow you to blow yourself off.
A lot of people say, somebody that'll not let you do the BS. So
yeah,
I have somebody that says that. She goes, I need people that are not going to let me do it, because she's very social. She's in the entertainment field. So she goes, I get a lot of people that will let me say whatever and whatever. So she's like, that's one thing she liked about me, was like, okay, I don't really care if you've toured and where you've been and how you've done it. Like, what is your goal now? What you've done there, who you've rubbed elbows with doesn't really matter right now. So she likes that, because I'll love her dearly, but I'm like, okay, but what does it have to do with, because she toured with Prince, and like she's literally rubbed elbows with many, many, many people, and I'm like, but what does that have to do with right now? And she'll just be like, but I'm like, okay. She goes, that's what I like about you. You don't let me BS or flash my credentials around to get something done. I'm like, because it doesn't serve you now. It did then, but it doesn't right now. And because she's actually not in that field anymore. So yeah, definitely find somebody that doesn't let you BS them, because it doesn't serve you. I mean, it's just a waste of your time and their time. And so yeah, if it needs to be somebody that's not in your industry, so you don't have to worry about that issue, reputation or whatever, then yeah, don't get somebody in that that same field so that you can. But yeah, it's nice if they are, because then they know what you're going through. But yeah, for sure, making sure that you find somebody that doesn't let you BS them. So that's awesome.
All right. Well, is there anything else before we jump off of here you'd like to share or leave? I think you gave us some good information so far.
I'm honored. Thank you for letting me share, and I definitely look forward to joining your network and getting my links out there so that people connect with me. I do coffee chats. I do the consultation. I love networking. That has been a huge goal this year, and it's been so much fun to get to meet, integrate, and just learn about people. So thank you for
Absolutely.
the time today.
Oh, thank you. Hang out with me for just a second. And everybody that joined in tonight, I hope you were able to get some value added to your life. I hope you understand what it is about setting goals and being accountable and just committing and investing your time and energy into yourself, because your life matters. And self-care and taking care of yourself is all about doing those steps to get you to the next level. And so be mindful of what it takes to do so. If you need to reach out for help, if you need to ask someone to help you that is in your household to keep you accountable, if you need to set a timer that says, okay, at 12 o'clock noon every day, that timer goes off and reminds you of something that you need to do, or write it down. Like Sondra said, write your goals down. That's the most important thing to help you be productive. Those are steps you can take to be a better you. And so, this is your life. We only have one to live. And you know what I'm going to say now? You were created with a purpose. So you might as well be great. So go ahead, be great. Thank you for joining us tonight. Come back tonight at 10:30, 5 p.m. when I do Monday Mindfulness. We will be talking about some mindful tips on accountability, and we'll do a mindful meditation on accountability as well. And so thank you for joining us. And you can reach out to Sondra, www.facebook.com/get it done with Sondra Ray, and Instagram.com/get it done coaching and VA, and LinkedIn.com/IN/Sondra Ray VA. And also those links will be connected on yourfullmindlife.com. So go ahead, live your life, and we'll see you soon. God bless.
Bye.